All right, so hello. Today we're going to put a biodigester into AltspaceVR, hopefully, using Blender and Unity. So the first thing is, where do you get the biodigester model? And I've put it into the files section of SolarCity's Biogas Innovators and Practitioners group on Facebook. So that may help those of you who are trying to follow along. If you're trying to follow along, indeed. Let me just make sure the stream is working by going to YouTube and checking out whether we're getting all the audio that we need. So we're here in my channel, and yes, let's see, seems like we're live. Okay, we're good. Everything is working. All right, so if you go to SolarCity's Biogas Innovators and Practitioners and you are in the group, normally you'll be in the discussion area and learning a lot about biogas. But if you go to our files section, then if you put into the search, put Pusheen, then you will see there's a lot there. That tends to be in files. What's going on? Search results. I should have done it in files. I thought it did in files. Anyway, there it is. It's the third one down. It's the Pusheen no-top STL. So I've got that STL file, and I clicked on it and downloaded it. And now I'm going to open it in Blender. So I'll go here and show you what's going on with Blender. So there we are with Blender. And the object is in there, which is good. There's the gas folder. There's some problems in rendering I've found, and I think the first thing we want to do with all objects that we bring into Blender is we want to go to, let me see if I can find, this is a new Blender, isn't it? We want to change go into Edit, and then when you're in Edit, where did it go? Yes, when you're in Edit, go to Mesh, and make sure you go to Normals and recalculate outside. That may help. So, it didn't seem to do anything, but I've found that there are sometimes some problems with the Normals. So once again, you go to Mesh and Normals, recalculate. If you did Flip, it would all go in the wrong way. So don't do Flip. Go to Normals and go to Recalculate outside Normals. And then, having that, let's go ahead and give this a color, a material, and give it a base color, make it a sort of brickish red that we have for ours here at Rosebud. Alright, and now to see it, if you look at the material preview, there it is, like that. Okay, so having that selected, now you want to export it as an FBX, because that is what is required. Not required, you can use an OBJ, but it's really much better. They suggest FBXs. So I'm going to export the FBX. Make sure you click on Selected Objects and Active Collection, and it's going to put the forward to be Z and Y to be up, which is what Unity expects. So the transform is important because in Blender, Z is up, whereas in other programs like Roblox or Unity, Y is up. So when you export, that's usually the default. So you click Selected Object, so only the selected object will be exported, and give it a name and find a folder for it. I'm going to put it in Blender Exports for AltspaceVR. I'm going to call it Pusheen Biodigester and export that FBX. And then I can close down Blender. Oops, save. Yes, save. I'll save this as Machine Biodigester. And go up a level. Alright, save the Blender. Alright, so we're done with Blender for now. By Blender. And let me now change. I'm in OBS Studio, so I have to, it's a pain, but you have to keep changing windows. Alright, so let's go to Chrome, and actually, no, we need to add a new, hold on a second, we need to add a new source. And that source is going to be a window capture, and the window is going to be Unity. All right. Okay, so Unity is up. I'm going to change the name of Unity and rename it. This is all going on. You can't see this, but this is all going on in OBS Studio, so that I can flip back and forth between windows, which is a bit of a pain. All right, so Unity. All right, so now we've got the Unity screen up, and I want to import that blend. I want to put the biodigester here on the base map, where the biodigesters go. Over here, there's 3 of them. So to do that, what I shall do, I have my models there in this folder. Close that up. And I'm going to import asset. And import this asset, and it is in, let's see where it is. It is in Blender Exports for AltspaceVR, and we should have Pushing Biodigester as an FBX. Okay, so I'm going to import that, and there it is. It came in. You'll notice things are on their side when they come in, because they came in from Blender. But here, if I drag it in, yep, I have a Pushing Biodigester, which is nice. Alright, so plant it on the ground where the first digester is, and then use Control-C and then V to copy and paste to make our second digester, which is half buried, and then copy and paste to make our third digester, which is buried down to there. And I have my 3 digesters. Okay. Now, in terms of materials, this one isn't actually the same color, but I don't know if I want to mess with changing the material here. If I click here, yeah, I can change it. Okay, so it can be changed, because that one is sort of cream colored, and I'd have to add new material, but I don't have it. And this one here is, let's change the material on this one, and let's make this one a dark one, like that. So we have 3 digesters. All right, so we've got the digesters in there. We have the house in there. The house is looking like a mess, though. I don't know why, but it seems like the back of the house is... That's okay. All right. So basically, here's what we're doing. We took a slice of Google Maps, and we brought that slice in as a cube. And then I made the cube a sort of flat cube. I didn't want to use a plane. And it has collision, and I had to set this plane here to negative 0.05. You can see that over here. That was absolutely critical, because otherwise, when you go into AltSpace, your avatar just falls through the earth, and you go, where's my world? So I tried setting it at 0, tried setting it at 0.1, found that it had to be about 0.5 for the character to fall onto this. And it has, as you can see, a box collider on it. Then I just started populating it with objects that I'm getting either from the Unity Asset Store or from Blender or from a 3D warehouse like this. This house here is from SketchUp's 3D warehouse, and you start putting things in. So if I wanted to put another car, for example, I went and got a bunch of vehicles, a low poly car pack, and I got that by going to the asset store. And in the asset store, I typed in cars, and I typed in pricing free assets, and then there's a bunch, and I got these low poly cars here. But there's a lot of different car models. Unfortunately, there aren't any free RVs, so we're going to have to do that eventually. But there's police cars and helicopters, and yeah, there's some cool stuff in there. Low poly is what you want for all this. Cartoon cars. And then you just install them. Rusty cars, scout cars, touring race cars. See all the cool stuff there is. Old military car, classic cars. So you can definitely look through and get different packs. So if I want to have in my scene to have those cars, I downloaded that first pack, and when I go here to prefabs, then there's a bunch of these cars around. I'm going to put a truck, or they have a garbage truck. Do they have a garbage truck? They may not. I'll use this truck here and put that on the road. That truck right there. And then where that other car was, I'm going to put a little sports car. And there's another car on the map there, it looks like. So let me grab a car and put it there. And that's also how you know that your map is the right size. You size the map based on objects that you can bring in that are of a standard size, like cars, and then you know your map is okay. All right. And then you want to check by doing this, making sure that everything is sitting right on the world. Okay, let's do that for now. Okay, I think that's going to be okay. It's the biodigesters that I really wanted to get in for this particular tutorial. Although the Indian teepee is critical to us, so let's just go see if there is an Indian teepee for free. Polygon Western Frontier. Well, $25. Alright, so I don't know if there's another way to make the word teepee. Native American props, again, $20. So there doesn't seem to be anything. There doesn't seem to be anything in this store. That's all right. We'll get to that. Maybe we can find it on in some other place. But now, what do you do to get into AltspaceVR? One thing I can tell you from my experiments last night is do not put in ProBuilder. As much as ProBuilder is awesome and I want to use it, ProBuilder caused my program to crash and wouldn't allow me to upload. It's not that it crashed. It wouldn't allow me to upload. It would just stop in the middle of uploading. So don't have ProBuilder in as a package. I had to start over. You need, for AltspaceVR, you need to be using Unity 2019.4.2 F1 until they give us further instructions. That's the one that everybody's using now. Do not use the latest version of Unity. Do not use the latest version of Unity. And then you upload their AltSpace project package, and it'll show up here once you've updated it. And then you go to build settings, and then you have to load your templates, and it'll connect to your AltSpace account. So I've logged into AltSpace on my web browser, and that connects me. And so when I hit load your templates, it communicates with AltSpace, and then it loads the two templates that I've created. click on the one you want to upload to, and then go to Build and Upload. And if everything's okay, you should see it start to compile all this information. There it goes. It's compiling, and it's building and compressing and bundling the data. That'll take a few seconds. And then, as it does that, it'll then build the shaders. Let it do its thing. The more complex your world is, the more time it's going to take. And once it's done all that, you're going to see everything disappear from the hierarchy except the camera and the light, because it does not bundle the cameras and the lights, because AltspaceVR has its own lights and cameras. So the program is smart enough, fortunately, not to mess things up by putting in cameras and lights. So it leaves those behind. And then it attempts to communicate with AltspaceVR, and it says here, upload complete, so I hope it worked. So now let me go back to OBS Studio and turn off the Unity capture, and I should turn off the Chrome. Now I'm going to launch AltspaceVR. I guess I'll turn on Chrome for a second so I can show you how I'm doing that. So here is my AltspaceVR world, and when you get into AltspaceVR, if you have signed up under the World Creation Beta, then you'll have some worlds. And they'll be organized into universes. So you should have a universe. If not, you have to create one here in the website. And then in that universe, you'll have all these worlds that you've created, or you can create a new one. And each world has its own template that it works with. So if I look at template, I'm using a template called my AltspaceKit template. Oh, it didn't work. Darn it! It says about an hour ago is the last time I loaded. Something went wrong. Oh, that's a big pain. See, when you create a template is an area where you can build an entire world, and then you create, build an environment, and then you create worlds that use that environment, so you can add elements from AltSpace and you can play in AltSpace. And so you really want to be able to build these templates, and Unity is what lets you do that. Although it seems like something again went wrong for me, and I'm not sure what it is. Let me try it again, but I don't think it necessarily is going to work. Hi, كيفك؟ Hello, كيفك؟ كله تمام؟ أنا في VR. الأخبار كويس. See, now it says TCP no delay. So something's gone wrong. It's plugins echo off. Something has gone wrong, and I'm not sure what. I'm really not sure what. Because it should say that it uploaded here. And it's not saying it. So what that means is when I go to my worlds, I'm only going to see what I was working on an hour ago. So it's not going to have the Pushins in it. So let me just try and see what did we have before. So there's my AltspaceKit world. I'm going to enter the world by clicking here on enter. And this is the maddening thing about Unity and AltSpace is they'll be talking to one another, and then all of a sudden you'll do something different and they'll stop talking. So here we're going into AltSpace, but you don't see it, so let me go back to OBS Studio and change this to, there you go. So we've come into the world, and the house is there, which is great. Huh? With what? Hold on, I'm broadcasting. One second. But the Pushin digesters didn't come in for some reason. So, yeah. I mean, so it was working this morning when I got the house in. And these assets here, the basketball does not come from Unity. The basketball comes from, I can even throw this thing. I don't even know how to throw it. What is the way you throw it? There you go. The basketball comes from AltspaceVR. And I'll never figure out with a mouse how you throw it. But there it goes. Yeah. So we're having some problems here, obviously. It was working. Maybe the only variable that changed that I can see is that I brought in those machine digesters, or unless it's the cars. It's really hard to know. Go back to Unity here, and let's just take out the machine digesters and see if that is what caused the problem. See if the new cars, the truck and stuff, if they work. So we will go to load your templates again, make sure it's communicating. Click on this, and then go to build and upload. If it turns out it's the Pushins, I don't know what to do with them. So we're waiting on it. I can't imagine it's the cars because I brought in cars before and they worked. So let's see if it now talks. So now it is talking. So yes, it's talking to it successfully. It did the handshake. So there's something wrong with my Pushin models, which I can't account for yet. And we'll check that out in a second once it says upload is complete. Now I think what's happening is that AltSpace is checking on everything, but at least they're talking, and that didn't even happen when I had the Pushin in. So it says upload complete, and now I can go here and look at and see what happened by going to my template, and it says less than a minute ago, so it should be all right. And now to go to my world, and then my world's universe, my universe, and then open up my world that uses that kit, enter it, and I already had an instance of the game running, so let me now, let's see what happens. I gotta get out of this one because I have an instance. You can disconnect it, reconnect. So we won't know if we were successful because we don't have the Pushins unless we go to the road and look for the cars and see if they are there. And I'll be darned, they're not there. So something's wrong. Yes. Oh, yes, he's welcome to. I got to go out of this and try to come back in. Let's go to settings. Let's go to exit AltSpace or re-enter space. There they are. All right. So it did work. See the truck? So there's the truck that we brought in, and there's the other car on the road. And there's the other car over there. So it looked like the only problem was the Pusheen, and since the IBC tanks came in, it's hard to account for why. So I'm going to try it again. I'm going to throw a basketball. There's a basketball, and then I'm going to throw it. But I can't throw it very well. All right. So the basketball plays. So what I have to do now is figure out what's going on with my Pusheens. So let me go back to Unity. And with Unity open, let's go back to my models. And what's your main models? Let's try one Pusheen digester instead of 3 and just see if it gives us a problem. So we put that in, and then we will load our templates to communicate. Pick that one, build an upload, and see again if it creates a handshaking problem. And if it doesn't work, then we'll have to figure it out from there, like what's going on with that. Okay, and now comes the moment of truth if it actually handshakes. Now come on. Waiting. Alright, so it did handshake. So looks like one digester's okay. Maybe, we'll see in a second. But you see how it has gotten all this handshaking done. And it's uploading as best it can. Still waiting. Still waiting. So it must be something wrong with that model. And it says upload is complete. So we will check and see if it works. So we'll go back to AltspaceVR. So let me go to OBS Studio and turn off Unity. Let's get AltspaceVR going, and let us go here and re-enter the space. And let's hope. Let's just hope. There it is. Okay, so one digester in. So it, and I do want to check the digester. It looks like the normals that we fixed are okay, because usually when we're walking around the digester, whoops. Yeah, usually this whole area is transparent, and it's not right now. Let me go now to fly mode by going to input and turn on fly, and you'll see that we can now go up in the sky and then look down, and that way we can show people the fiberglass gas holder, which really should be another color. I should be able to go into that and change that so you can see it. But now you can see as I fly over this how we're using the Google map to position things in the landscape. And I want to show you now that actually there's a lot I can do with this. If I turn off fly, let's say I want to put an animal in here. I want to put a dog. So if I want to put a dog in here, I don't have to go back to Unity for that. Let me turn off fly and put crash into the ground. That helps when you're doing stuff. If I want to put a dog, then I can go to World Editor and go to Featured Kits and look for animals. There's animals. And then I'll find, although it's a little bit kludgy to use, I'll find a dog. Here's a dog. And the dog comes in, and then I can take that dog and make it size be 1, which is the full size relative to me, the player. And take that dog and constrain the axis to world Y. Oh, it seems like I brought a horse in somehow too. I didn't even bring a horse in. I'm going to get this dog's feet out of the mud. And let me also rotate. Don't try to use, if you try to use rotate by turning off rotation lock, your dog's going to get really messed up. So don't mess with rotation lock. I found rotation lock's a pain. Here's where you have to use your math and set your rotation. Like here I want it to be 180 degrees, and here off, and then confirm. And then your dog will be in a better position, and you can decide if you want it to be 90 or 180. You have to play around with that. So I don't want him to be facing that way. I want him to be facing, actually, I guess it's 270. A little bit of math for kids. There we go. As for that horse, I'm going to delete the horse completely. Now I'm going to lock the dog. So the dog is here in the world. He's not in the template. That's crucial to understand. Turn off edit for a second. The dog is a just like the basketball court, actually the basketball hoop and the basketballs. The dog is in the world. The template is the environment that we built in Unity that surrounds the world, and that's fixed. You can't move stuff now. Like I can't move this digester here in AltspaceVR, but I can come to the dog and go to World Editor, and I can select the dog, unlock everything, select the dog, lock everything, but open the dog. I can move the dog along these different axes or no axes at all, and just sort of like position the dog. And the thing is, you can walk around with the dog. The thing about AltspaceVR is you're building as if you're actually in the environment. So you grab an object and then you walk with them, you pooch. And when you find the place where you want to put the animal or the object, then you stand there and you place it on the ground. And then turn off your petting. And now he'll be there, and he's fixed in the world in that position, but he's nowhere in the template. So you can keep changing the template, and the dog will stay there. The dog doesn't get messed up by changing the template.
Where's the template?
Template is this whole world that you see here.
And he's living on it.
He's in a world that uses the template. He's not in the template. The template, I can show you if I go back here. The template is this. And the template does not have a dog in it. The template has these objects that will not move. So my Pusheen digester is in the template. I can't move that in the game, but I can move the dog because the dog came from the game. You see?
How can you move the dog?
Oh, I can move him in AltspaceVR. So now I wanted to see, can I actually add another digester? So I'm going to, instead of copy paste, I'm going to hit duplicate this time. And I'm going to do the half buried thing, and let's see if it'll tolerate 2 digesters without a problem. I just don't know. So once again, I'm going to load my templates, pick my AltspaceVR template, go to build and upload, and keep my fingers crossed. Because we know when we had 3 in there, it didn't work. So it's building and compressing the data, and so everything disappears for a moment. The camera and the directional light come back because you don't want those in AltspaceVR, so the algorithm does not bring them in. It's building the shaders. And now comes that moment of truth. Does it handshake? It looks like it is handshaking.
What do you mean handshake?
And it says here handshake. It means it's connected. In that movie we saw in Outer Limits last night from the 90s, they handshook and getting a modem to talk, making a telephone call. I guess that's Tosin here. Hey Tosin. Are you guys here? Oh, okay, I'll be coming out in just a sec. I'm just finishing a live broadcast on Unity. You're right there. Alright, see you in a sec. Bye. Okay, so we're going to re-enter the space now by going to where? General, re-enter space, try to reload and see, did it work? Did we get 2 machines in?
Wait a minute.
Oh, and I have to...
when you adjust Unity, you have to do something to bring the new stuff to Altspace, right?
yes.
You don't keep adding without...
Let's
It's not like
disconnect it.
wire.
Something went wrong. Let me see
You
if
have
I
to
turn off the...
always move them from
Yeah, Unity just... No, you don't have to remove anything from Unity.
Oh, you have to. How
Whoops,
did you move
something
it
went
to
wrong.
Altspace?
What's that? Teleporting failed?
So
Let me
you
try
are
this
building
again.
in Unity now, right?
Yes.
The other biodigestor.
Right.
And you have to... What did you press on to take
Okay.
it to Unity, to Altspace?
Oh, I pressed on the build. Remember? I did,
Uh-huh.
let me show you. In Unity, after I've created my scene, I go to, this might not be up, I go to
So that's an
AltspaceVR,
update
build
to the
settings.
scene.
Yeah, and I went load to your templates. And I can try to do the next one too, see if that works. Let's see. Duplicate, might as well try to get all 3 of them in and be done with it. See if that works. That other digester is here.
I have to see it, you know.
Right.
Otherwise,
See that? So all 3 digesters are now in. I go to AltspaceVR build settings. A window opens up. I go load my templates. It handshakes with Altspace and tells me what templates I have. I have an Altspace kit template that I'm using for this world. I can have many templates. I also have one for Rosebud I've never used, but I'm testing it with this Altspace kit template. And then I click build and upload. And it should do what I want it to do. It should start building, takes everything that it's going to build out of the world, looks at it, says, I don't want the light and the camera because Altspace has one, and throws them back into the world here. But everything else is gone. And then it builds these shaders, and it compresses the data, gets it ready.
But aren't you duplicating the stuff that's originally you took?
Taking everything and redoing, and recompiling everything. Then it opens up and starts handshaking. See? Now it's sending the data. It compressed it all.
Altspace.
Yeah. This is Unity one hand, and this is Altspace another, and they're shaking hands and going, I'm going to transfer data now.
Mm-hmm.
Transferring blood.
Right.
And it's telling us that it's trying to put this data in.
Have you done this before? This is the first time.
I've done this a whole bunch since yesterday.
No. But like every single new object.
Every new object I put in, I have to re-upload.
Re-upload.
The whole world.
The whole thing.
The whole
But
thing.
what happens to the one that you did before?
It gets replaced. This is a template. So
It's
now,
not like above each other.
No, it's just taking everything and overwriting it. It's like when you save a file over another file, it overwrites it. But the dog and
like
the
if
cat.
You're writing a Google Doc
right.
or no, a Word document
yes.
and updating it.
Right, but the dog and the cat are not in Unity. The dog and the cat are in Altspace. So now, when I go to Altspace,
They change their position or this?
No, they're going to stay wherever I put them. So now, if I go to Altspace and I launch Altspace and enter this world, now you're welcome, Diego. Oh, cool! You're based in London now. You're very welcome. I hope that you'll also share stuff, and you too, Mara. Thank you for your comments. I know I'm stumbling through this, and I learn as I go, and I just broadcast it. Okay, it worked. Look at that. Haha. That's awesome. So now I have 3 biodigesters in, 1 above ground, 1 half buried, and 1 buried in the ground. And that is just totally awesome to have. And let's see if the dog stays. Yeah, the dog is still there.
Mm-hmm.
The dog.
Where's the cat?
Cat I put here.
No.
Cat's sort of sitting on the lawn here.
Show me. So this house came from Unity?
No, this house came from 3D Warehouse. And then I brought it into Blender and I recalculated the normals, but obviously not good enough for the garage because the garage walls are missing.
But then you took it to Unity?
Then I took it to, after Blender, I exported it as an FBX to Unity, yes.
Can you bring from Unity to Altspace without going, from Blender to Altspace
No.
without going?
Mm-hmm. Blender is used to clean up models, to do mesh modeling and all.
And that you could put in the axis and as an asset stuff, right?
Right. So
Did you
there's
put
the
these?
solar panels, but these came
Where's
from
the
Unity.
pole?
I didn't put the poles in yet. That's the next thing I have to do. But it's going to be a whole lot easier because, as we saw, there is a way to put solar panels in from Unity. I'm sorry, not from Unity, from AltspaceVR, but it's a pain to move them around. So you can go to Kits, and you can go to, what is it called?
I mean Vikings?
No, it wasn't Vikings. It was Town Props, I think.
No, but
It's either Town Props,
Oh.
the poles I got from Vikings, but it's a pain. There's no point. I can do it in Unity because these are, you don't put anything in from AltSpace that is static. If you want stuff that doesn't move, do it in Unity. If you want it to move around, like these potted plants or things, there's a solar panel, see?
Oh.
So yeah, I can click on solar panel and it'll bring a solar panel in, and then I can size the solar panel and I can change its rotation and I can move its position, but it's such a
So
pain.
small.
Well, no, I'm going to grow it. I just there now it's so big. It's not, that's not the issue. It's just that it's so hard to move stuff that you'd only use a solar panel like this if you wanted to move it around in the game. So maybe I want to teach around this and place this somewhere else in the game. I can take this solar panel, right? Because I'm now in the game. Note this. Look at this. Wait a minute. I gotta grab it though. Where did it go? Ah, I lost it. Where did it go? Oh crud. Solar panel, where are you? What happened to my solar panel? Well, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna erase it and bring it back in. Show you what I mean. So let me get rid of the solar panel. Let me put in another solar panel, which shows up. Ah, there it is. It's much easier to do this in the Oculus or the HTC Vive. My point is merely that if I grab the solar panel, now I can walk around or even beam around with the solar panel. You know we have solar panels on this thing here. So I could place this solar panel here. I'd still have this problem with rotating it. So I'd have to come in here and I'd have to know the right rotation of it. So maybe that rotation is X. I'm not sure which is X. Let's see if X was 45 degrees, or actually solar panel should be 33 degrees. And then the Y will be 0 and the Z will be 0, and then make the solar panel full size by hitting 1 and then hit confirm. Yeah. So there it is, right? And then I can lock it and get out of edit mode. And now I have a solar panel, and you can say, but that shouldn't be there. And my point is that with Unity, I'd have to go back to Unity to change the other solar panels, whereas with this one, I can move this to make it easier to see.
Why would you do it here? Then you just.
Because this one is movable in-game. I can have students standing around me in the game, and I can say, all right, everybody, let's move this solar panel up. Or in the air, yeah, or I can move it back. In other words, I'm in game right now, and you could be standing in game with me, watching what I'm doing. I can change the way that I move it by constraining world X or world Z. See what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's all done while we're playing the game. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
That's the advantage of using assets.
You can just put it on top of the binder.
Yeah. I'm going to leave it like that for now. It's time to go and meet Tosin. That's the point, is that you have stuff you bring in from AltSpace, and you can create stuff in Unity and make a kit out of it. I mean, you can, let me show you that just before we go. So if I'm in Unity here, and I want to create an object that I can bring in AltSpace, there's a thing called kit. So let's say I want to have a biodigester in the kit. So I can go kit and convert, is it convex? Convert game objects to kit prefab, and it's going to ask me for a kit name. Okay, so kit folder name is going to be biodigesters, and the kit asset name is going to be Crushing, and then I can load the kits that I have and put this one in biodigesters. All right, and then I can load the kit. What do I do here? I convert the kit to prefab, and it'll disappear from here because now it's in the prefabs folder. I can I can build the kit by selecting biodigesters, and then load prefab. I can build it into biodigesters. And now it should do that same process. Let's hope it does. It does the handshaking. Because now I'm just doing the handshaking. Upload complete. All right, so now when I go into here and I reload the space, which is important to do, settings, general, re-enter space, and let me show what I'm doing here. Right. So now I'm in the space again, and my dog is still there, and my biodigester is still there. But let's say I wanted to add a fourth biodigester that I could move around the game. Now, if I go to World Editor, and I'm hoping this works, for some reason it's really tiny. I'm going to go to Mine and look at My Kits under Biodigesters, and there it is. See? Look at us. It came in, instead of featured kits, which is where I got the solar panel, right? These are all the featured kits that they have. I go to My Own Kits, and in My Kits, I have a USF kit, and I've got a biodigester kit. And in the biodigester kit, I just entered this. And look at that. There it is. There's my biodigester. Oops. There's my biodigester. And I can take that biodigester, but now I got to rotate it. So I've got to go to biodigester.
That was you brought from.
I brought it into Altspace from Unity, so it's part of a kit that I can move around the game. It's not part of the template.
Kit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's already, you can add as many as
As
you
I,
want.
well, yeah, if I want to, but I can move them.
Right, but it's in Altspace now.
Right,
Like
it's in Altspace.
the storage.
Right. So the scale is a bit. Oh, that's bad. What's with the rotation? I gotta rotate it. Let me try to rotate it 90. In X, that's upside down. Okay, so that didn't work. That's the problem with this thing, is you gotta and really mess around with your rotations. Okay, there's that, and then I can get it to rotate in Z a little bit. I don't know what that is. Is that 30 degrees? Let's see. And no, it's not 30 degrees. Talk about a pain in the butt. Is it 40 degrees? No. It's, whoa, okay, so I just messed that up. Confirm, there you go. I did that, then you lock the rotation, and then you can grab it and size it with the scroll wheel, and you can say, all right, I want to move this with me. I can get around to get it again. But you see why it's kind of kludgy and problematic? But that's how you can bring, that's what I'm saying, you can bring objects in. And maybe you'd have a little model of this that people can walk around, so you can show them what's inside and go, okay, that's the biodigester, and let's go place it someplace. Mm-hmm. But that's different than the template.
Yeah.
All right, that makes sense? All right,
yeah,
good.
It's an object.
Yeah. Alrighty, we're done for today, or at least for now, and we're going to stop streaming. Thanks for watching and thanks for your comments. And please share with us your discoveries. Let's make this something all teachers can use and get out of the classroom while we're in this pandemic and instead build virtual classrooms. That is the goal here. How do I end the stream? How do you end it? How do you end it? I don't know how to end it. Wow, it's not letting me end. Let me end. I'm stuck here. Oh, no. Won't let me end. Come on, let me end. End! End, I tell you. End. I guess if I go to OBS Studio.